Good morning. Ooh, pull the microphone lead. Anyway, you're fine. Good morning. It's Anya Divine here, and it really is morning. Like, it's before 7 o'clock, which is unusual for me. I think it's still before 7. I got up about half an hour ago. I woke up, I think, when Erin left at around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and I didn't go back to sleep. And I was feeling kind of full of beans, really. And I thought to myself, no, I would feel very virtuous and kind of like I had done something, I had achieved something early on. Well, I don't know about that. When everyone else is asleep, how you feel like if you do something worthwhile, you've kind of got like a credit going into the day. And maybe I could do what I want for the rest of the day. Anyway, maybe that would be a good thing to do every day anyway. Okay, enough. I'm going to go around that side now and do something in response to this. I think I might start with the red tabletop, actually. It's funny, the usual thing happened to me, I was setting up in advance and I thought, look, I'll just set it up and then straight away after my yoga and meditation I'll do my painting. But then of course I kind of I started to feel inspired, and I had everything set up in the space that the yoga mat, I was on top of the yoga mat, and then I just thought, look, for God's sake, I was starting to feel it, and I thought, just go with it. So I'm painting first, and maybe the yoga will happen after then. That's the plan. Now, so things are kind of scattered around me here, but I've got a fair bit of order before starting. I've got my acrylic paint out here, and what I'm putting out there now is the cadmium red. It's the System 3 Daler-Rowney cadmium red hue. Let's see what that looks like. I'm putting that on for the tabletop. And I feel like even although the tabletop has got a little bit maybe more crimson in it, I feel like this is quite a good colour for the light falling on the bright. And when I spread it out, actually it does read as the colour of the tablecloth, I think. I had considered using collage for the cup, but I'm not sure now. Oh yeah, and I got my stencils, of course, and actually they might be the thing. They might be the thing to use for that cup. So what about if I was to put down a layer of something for the cup? Will I do that next? I think I will. So just create some sort of a space. Yeah, I think if I put down a blue, like ultramarine blue, spread out thinly, will probably look like that colour. It's unusual, Maisie, isn't it, for me to be up at this hour of the morning? No. I used to get up at this time all the time. Maybe it'd be no harm to get back into that habit. Because I tell you what, I went out this morning there to get stuff out of the studio, and the sky was really beautiful. Like there was candy floss clouds in the air. It was really lovely. And it only lasted a few minutes before they disappeared. So I was glad to see them. Now, so if I do this as a kind of backdrop for that cup, I suppose then I can use the stencil or whatever it is. We'll see. I don't want to plan too much in advance either. There's a cast shadow in that way. And then there's nice light meeting that edge of the cup. And might as well do the green. I reckon it's sap green. I think my sap green is a bit blocked, like I was myself for a while. Creatively, I mean. I suppose we all go through phases of that. I don't know, has it ever actually, you know, the thing of being, how we say we get blocked, like, I suppose, I think it's okay. Because it's okay if it's not seen as not okay to have a phase of, you could say it's like a fallow period, isn't that the word sometimes people use for that, rather than to feel like I'm blocked, to feel like maybe I'm just having a break from it all, and maybe I'll come back fresher then, like, or maybe not. No expectations here. Just gouging out the shapes of the green there. It's probably a bit bleached out what you're seeing there, but I am seeing green in between the yellow flowers there. And then there's a massive yellow flower right here. I think I'm going to wet this cloth now and lift off that blue as best I can. Wet first, then dry. And it lifts off a fair bit of it anyway. It's kind of got stuck in the grooves of the paper, this the blue. And the handle is there somewhere. I'm just using kitchen paper that's been dipped into the water. Okay, so that's the light side of the cup. Don't like the red getting into the white. Okay, and now the yellow. And now the yellow. Let me see. If you watched the video from not yesterday, but I think the day before yesterday, you'll have seen a lot of paint and a lot of collage and a fairly, I would say I could call it a heavy-handed approach to that painting of those little daffodils. And it was alright, but you know, it feels good too to soften it out a bit and to calmly place. Let's see how this goes now. As soon as I start to make a plan, it'll go pear-shaped maybe. That's why it might be no harm to have seriously clear guidelines around time. But you know, I think for decades I've been saying that to myself. And my friend Danielle, like, she's a business coach and she's really great. And she said, just look at your system as it is, don't be trying to change. Yeah, something like that. She said it very clearly. Anyway, something like, don't be resisting your own way of working. And my way of working here in the living room on my own isn't. I'm not inclined to set a timer. So far in my life anyway, it's not been one of the things I've been desperate to do. This is cadmium yellow there, which I think is too warm really for those flowers. So I'll just make it into a little bit more of a grey by mixing the red and green into it. And maybe some of the ultramarine blue too. I want to subdue that colour there. red paint on them. I want to get myself some more paper towels. These are the last two, as far as I can see, that we have in the house. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm going to get myself a slightly, like an in-between brush, so that I can do the flowers with a square brush. Just give me a second. I think this one might look good. I found a 1 inch or 3/4 inch brush there. Sorry, hang on. I found a 1 inch brush. No, so it's a 3/4 inch brush. And I also picked up some of that collage paper. I don't know if this is a collage. I think this might just be simply a simple painting. Now, with my eyes half closed, I do want to explain the shadows in the yellow flowers first. And I'm going to hold up the palette in order to see the colour that I'm aiming for as I'm making it. And it's a sharper, cooler colour. I think there's some blue in it. Shadow. I'm closing one eye. I'm trying to get the colour of the shadow of the that flower. Sorry, big long pauses. I think that might be all right. I can always make it a bit more yellow if I need to. It's a funny one to achieve. There is a little bit of the cadmium yellow in it, actually. That'll do. Okay, so I'm keeping my eyes half closed now in order that I don't get too involved in this. I'm just going to paint on where I see the shadow of these petals, the dark bits, away from the light. And over here too. And then the centre is kind of that colour as well, actually. Maybe a touch darker in the centre. A bit more blue in it. The paint dries fairly quickly on this paper, so I'm anxious to wash the brush and to start lifting out the shape of the petals. I mean, I can always paint over it in white anyway, but look, it's kind of nice to be able to cut in like that, isn't it? To get the shape as the shadows and the petals meet the lighter background space here. And I mean, I'm not sure which is lighter or which is darker there, the cup or the petals, but I want to gouge out the shape of them anyway. I think the petals are probably lighter, to be honest. So I can deepen the tone of the cup later. Easel needs to be hammered into place, but it's too loud a noise now to be objecting it at this hour of the morning, so I'm just going to tolerate it slipping every so often. Yeah, I'm guessing that now is time for maybe a little bit more of the green here and there are patches of dark green actually, like the back of that dark green, not blue. There's a space between the brightness of that yellow flower and it's like the tail end of this one that's facing that way. And then there's another shape here. I mean, my distances aren't mathematical here now, but they're approximately placed. Position of the flowers beside each other. And there's some of these little small leafy things too. A bit more shadow on that. And then the stem coming up for that one. On the inside of the cup to have a bit of tone to it. So I need to put out some more green again now. So I don't know if you're on my newsletter list or anything, but I've been advertising another online flower painting workshop. It was full and then it wasn't full. So I've got a few spaces left. If any one of you would be interested in joining me for that, starting on Sunday. And if you want to find out all the information about it, get in touch or leave a comment below there with your email address and I'll get in touch with you. Okay. I think it's time for that yellow, is it? I don't know about the stencil there, will I do that or not? I've got a few different stencils. I think that looks to be quite a close replica. I'll try that. It's got a feeling of the cup more than it's being a replica really. A similar style of line work. I'm actually putting it on very wet. I'll try and find some dry paper towel. Here's some. It's too much to find a clean paper towel, but at least I can find a dry one. You know, I'm not going to do that yet. I'll just let it dry in a little bit more before wiping it off. I'm hoping that when I wipe it off it might go back to the white of the paper. And when I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm going to use this brush to explain the bottom edge of that cup with the red. Red is quite a pleasing colour, isn't it? That deep red. I love it. Maisie coming to life a little bit. Okay, and then I thought I would wipe away some of that blue. No, it's not making the white disappear underneath. Making the paint lift off underneath, and that's okay. It's interesting to see what would happen. And so, will we go for those flowers now? I wonder what would happen if I was to just use a stencil. Using a small brush here now, which goes against my better instincts, but it's just that it's cleaner, so that is good. Let me see. You know, I think there needs to be some cadmium yellow in with that. It's a little bit too sharp, that lemon yellow. So I'm going to put some of the cadmium yellow into it. Warm it up a little bit. I think Maisie's invited herself into Lily's bedroom there. Or maybe mine. Too much cadmium? No, but I can there's too much cadmium now, but I can lift off some of it. And I think when you lift off yellow, you know how it goes kind of transparent and ends up actually being more the colour through being diluted by the white paper underneath it almost. And I think I could go back to a little bit of that grey petal colour that I've been using, the browny grey. In places I feel like the petals are darker than I've painted them. It's quite dark, isn't it? Just keep remembering to half close my eyes to really see what the shadows are that I'm looking at. Because I do feel like it is in the contrast that brightness is accentuated. Right, and what about inside in that? There's a couple of darkish sweeps in from those petals too. And even sweeps out. And here too, it's almost like a firework detonating there. The extension of the shadows in that direction to open and flower out. I'm going to add in some more light ones while I've got the brush in my hand. There's a few more that'll sit now on top of that lovely shadow colour, and let the petals that are catching the light extend into the light. So the next door neighbour off with his cigarette. He has a morning smoke at 7:30 usually by his car. Sometimes it's a bit embarrassing because I'm looking straight out the window at him in one of my yoga poses, like tree pose or something, standing wobbling. And there he is standing by his car with his smoke, trying to pretend he doesn't see me. I have a funny relationship with our neighbours, you know. It's interesting. I suppose people don't want to get too close, sure they don't, if they know they're going to be beside you for years. Maybe they might be a bit, I don't know. And I don't think I'm you know, I think it's both. Both of us have decided not to be too much in each other's lives, which is a natural thing. Nice people. No. I'm still trying to find the brightness of the yellows as they sit in front of the darker bits. And I think some of these are crisp lemon yellow as opposed to the cadmium yellow where it catches the cool daylight. Some of the tips are bright. Lemon yellow colour. I might end up sharpening the darks again as well. Once I've painted down enough of the lighter yellow. I'm thinking white might be a good colour to use now as well for the, or some grey here and some maybe whitish bits for in between the pattern, for the pattern in between the blue on the cup. I'm just mixing up a kind of a greyish colour to represent that side of the cup there. Well, first maybe I could put on the pattern where it meets the flower here, because this pattern is darker. The pattern on the cup is darker mostly than the flowers, even although that's the shadow side of the flowers. The rim of the cup. That's a good dark colour for the bits in between. The bits in between the yellow, even on the green flowers there. I wouldn't normally say to use the same colour in the cup as in the flowers. In fact, I am going to change it slightly because it's annoying me that they're too close. So I'm putting some sap green into that shadow there. I don't want it to read the same as that. You know, to distinguish the cup from the foliage. Might lift up a bit more of the yellow again now. So I'm just scooping up a ridge of yellow on the tip of the brush there, and then I'm going to lay it down in the places where the petals haven't yet been fully described. Again, between those two darks there's a bright petal. I love lavishing on the thick paint, especially describing light on a petal. There's something lovely about lathering on the paint in relief, so it really catches the light. The actual piece of paint that's describing the petal is itself catching the light physically, because it's out in relief from the paper. I was thinking in my bed as I couldn't sleep, you know, I was thinking back to times when I felt gathered in and home in myself and everything. And you know, there were things that were consistent with that time that I thought I could introduce into my life again. And this here is one of them. No matter what commissions I have or anything, to feel like this, making paintings for the sake of making a painting has to take precedence actually over any premeditated work. And when I say take precedence, it kind of informs the work that I do on commission as well then, because it's got more life in it. But I think the whole thing in the end is that it's like one of the Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year. I met them last week there, a few weeks ago, at the opening of the Sky Arts exhibition at Compton Verney. And there's a guy called Curtis, I think Holden is his surname, and he won, as far as I know, he's the most recent winner. And he said, Anya, he said, this is what we do. And he sat down drawing like in the gallery. This is what we do. And I feel like this is what I do. And if I can stay with that, I won't get too far lost in my life, you know. Other stuff can kind of come and go, but if I'm just doing my piece of the puzzle, like showing up for my stuff. As I say, I can't go too far off piece then. I've never before said off piece. I think that might be totally out of context. Although it sounds right. Now, I'm going to put a bit more of a pattern in here with this dark colour, because I think then I'll come back in with the in-between colour to define just some bits on the light side there. I think I don't need an awful lot, just a little bit of white paint to explain the bottom edge of that cup as it's turned towards the light. Now the next question is, can I find the white paint? Yes, I can. Are you proud of me? I just discovered it as I said it there. I'm not even going to try squeezing it out. I'm just twisting open the top, which is bad practice, but it's what works today. I mean, I could probably squeeze it out actually, because that stayed covered. So I'm really cleaning my brush because I don't want this white to be, unless I want shading in it, I'm gonna aim for it to be clean. So I think there it is pretty well only light falling on that white bit. So if I think it's appropriate to just keep it the white from the tube, capturing that light side of the cup. That cup says "Listen to the world," and it's got pictures of birds on branches and flowers and things, so that's the world, the natural world it means, I assume. Well, I suppose listening to anything can bring us back into present, kind of. Been doing these meditations. Sam Harris has got an app called the Waking Up app. I've been doing his meditations this year, although I've cancelled the subscription for next year because it's 100 quid, and I'm not sure. Like, I really do like them, and I might take it up again, but I don't want it to automatically renew, just in case I find other meditation. Like, there's quite a lot on YouTube that you can follow along to, isn't there? But anyway, he has some meditations that talk about listening to the sounds around you, all of that stuff. No matter what the sound is, that you can incorporate it into your meditation, depending on the day. But I have found it to be the case, actually, unless the sound is accompanied by a tongue licking my face or something. So Maisie can be noisy and Margot can be noisy. But when Margot starts kind of clawing my legs or something, and when Maisie starts licking my face, and Margot actually licks my nose, sometimes her tongue's like sandpaper. Right, now, so that's a different kettle of fish. It's a different animal to try and be at peace while that's going on. That's my next challenge. This is the grey now that I've added some grey to the white that I was just using in order to capture the shadow side of the cup there. It's good to stand back, isn't it? Remember, I used to always say stand back often. Yeah, and I think I might just leave the cup now for a minute and bring in a little bit more red to outline here, to explain the edge of the cup on that side. Really, I'd like this brush to be a bit more intact at the edge, so it's not creating such a textured mark. It's okay. I want to be tinkering. I think I might be done. There was something I was intending to do with the white as well, which was to explain the shape in between a few of these darker petals back here. There mightn't be any harm. You know, the white changes to more of a Payne's grey as it comes around the front there, so that it makes the petals read as even brighter. I'm just wondering if I can make it work with the background, that it'll let it gradually dissipate rather than having to change the whole background colour. That's where a clean paper towel can come in handy, or a clean corner of a dirty one, which is what I'm opting for here. I lifted off some of my grey again there. Yeah, I'm guessing I need a bit of a centre. I'll just let that meld out. Let that blend with the white paper. Yeah, and I reckon I need a centre for that flower there. And before I do the centre, I'm going to create a lighter yellow petal that will sit here. Like, this is really quite light. And there's one here too. And then the inside, what colour is that? It's just like a dull brownish yellow, I think. Greeny brownish greyish yellow. Let's see what this looks like. It is quite dark in contrast to that petal. Not quite that dark though. What do you think? I might stop. I feel to put a little bit more grey in between things over here. You know, the pattern on this side. might be time for Lily to get up now. Erin's gone to Malaga today. She left, I think it was around 4 o'clock she left. So she'll have an early night tonight now. I'd say I'll call it a day. Yep. Are you impressed with me actually stopping when I said I was going to stop? I probably said it three or four times before I actually stopped. I want to show you it a bit closer. Thanks for joining me here. I mightn't have done it without you. It might have been too tempting to go back into my cozy bed at one point. So I'm glad you were there to assist the process. There you have it. It's quite good fun painting on that buttery thickness of yellow. These are mostly System 3 acrylics by Dale Roney. And the stencils I got on Amazon. You can get a pack of 6 of these circular stencils. And they're really good. It just adds something different. Excuse me. So, thank you. Thank you to the flowers. Thank you to you for being here. And I hope you have a good day. As I say now, I feel like I've achieved something already. So maybe I can let myself off the hook the rest of the day. Better check that Lily's up. Okay. Bye.